It says it's preparing to live stream. We'll see. We don't believe it. Now it says it's setting it up. So yeah. Yeah, it looks like we're live. Hello. Welcome to Tea and New Book Tuesday. I'm Lisa. I will be your librarian today. Let me get out of this. Don't know what that was. Okay. Today we are going to talk about, as always, books that have been pre-ordered by Mobile Public Library and already in the catalog so that you can put a hold on them before they're even released. Today's books are going to be November's science fiction, fantasy, horror, and I have a couple of literary titles I threw in there. It does make a certain amount of sense that we don't have very many science fiction, fantasy, and horror titles in November because there was a lot more in October, and I think horror in particular deliberately comes out like August, September, October because of Halloween. So I needed to add a few, and I found some interesting literary ones that I thought you guys might like to hear about. What else? Oh, my tea today is lemon lavender from Tea Forte. I had to get tea leaves, like loose tea, in order to get this, but I do really like it, so it was probably worth it. And it is so soothing, so lovely. Okay, so let's start with your favorite part of Tea and New Book Tuesday and my favorite part, the giveaway. It's worth pointing out that last week, all of the books were gone by like 11:45. And the week before that, they were all gone on Tuesday, both of which has never happened. So people seem to be snatching these up pretty quickly. Let's get into what they are. As always, if you want one of these books, you need to be the first to put the book's name and your MPL location for pickup in the comments. I will look at the comments right after this and start giving books away. And we'll see how quick these go. I have 2 science fiction, 1 fantasy, and 1 thriller. Start with the thriller, The Missing Hours by Julia Dahl. This is Julia Dahl's the critically acclaimed author of Invisible City and Conviction. This is the description. From a distance, Claudia Castro has it all. A famous family, a trust fund, thousands of Instagram followers, and a spot in NYU's freshman class. But what starts as a promising school year ends in one terrible drunken night. Her memory hazy, Claudia cuts herself off from her family, seeks solace in a new friendship, and disappears. So that's The Missing Hours. Next up, we'll do one of the science fictions, The Weightless World by Adam Soto. Very interesting cover. From the streets of gentrified Chicago to the tech boom corridors of Silicon Valley, The Weightless World follows a revolving cast of characters after alien contact upends their lives. Sevi, a burned-out music teacher desperate for connection, struggles to find meaning in rekindled love. Ramona, Sevi's on-again, off-again girlfriend, is a computer programmer determined to build an AI to prevent mankind's destruction. And Ethan, Sevi's cello protege, is forced to measure his commitment to a friend against the chance of escaping neighborhood troubles. When a mysterious signal, at first seen as a sign of hope, stops as abruptly as it started, they all must grapple with its aftermath. Traversing the Soviet Union's late 2000s America and the vast expanse of the cosmos, the novel explores the lives of people awaiting a great paradigm shift, a dazzling deconstruction of a science fiction trope. The Weightless World looks to the past for a vision of the future. So this is this author's first novel, but they've written some pretty acclaimed short stories before. It says it blurs the lines of genre and challenges notions of predetermination, purpose, and self-determination. So that's The Weightless World by Adam Soto. Talk about our one fantasy book, which also has a very interesting cover. I actually really like this cover. God of Mercy by Okizi Nwaka. You tell me how you think that's pronounced, because I am guessing. Okay. In the Igbo village of Ikulu, the people's worship of their gods is absolute, and their adherence to tradition has allowed them to evade the influence of colonization. But the village is reckoning with changes, including a war between gods and signaled by Lijoma, a girl who can fly. As tensions grow between Ithulu and a neighboring colonized village, Ijeomia is forced into exile. Reckoning with her powers and exposed to the outside world, Ilojima is imprisoned by a Christian church under the accusation of being a witch. Suffering through isolation, she comes to understand the truth of merciful love. With a sprawling cast of characters and lyrical prose, God of Mercy reframes the nature of tradition and cultural heritage, establishing a folklore of the uncolonized. It is a novel born of diaspora about wrestling with gods, confronting demons, and discovering one's true purpose. So that's God of Mercy. All right. This is The Anomaly, written by Hervé Letellier. It also won a French writing prize, the Prix Goncourt, which I'm going to admit I don't know a ton about. But this book, okay, here's the description. In their own way, they were all living double lives when they boarded the plane. Blake, a respectable family man who works as a contract killer. Slime Boy, a Nigerian pop star who uses his womanizing image to hide that he's gay. Joanna, a Black American lawyer pressured to play the good old boys game to succeed with her big pharma client. Victor Misiel, a critically acclaimed yet largely obscure writer suddenly on the precipice of global fame. About to start their descent into JFK, they hit a shockingly violent patch of turbulence, emerging on the other side to a reality both perfectly familiar and utterly strange. As it charts the fallout of this logic-defying event, The Anomaly takes us on a journey from Lagos and Mumbai to the White House and the top secret hangar. In Hervé Letellier's most ambitious work yet, high literature follows the lead of a bingeable Netflix series, drawing on the best genre fiction from chitlit to mystery, while also playfully critiquing their hallmarks. An ingenious, timely variation on the doppelganger theme, it taps into the parts of ourselves that elude us most. So that's The Anomaly. If you want any of these four, put the name of the book and then your MPL location for pickup in the comments below, and we'll see how long it takes for all of them to go this time. All right, so let's go ahead and no, I don't want to hit the wrong button, but I want to share my screen so you can see today's titles. Nope, there we go. All right, go ahead and look at what we got here. As I said, we're doing science fiction, fantasy, and horror, and a couple of literaries. Heading straight in, we're going to start with the science fiction, fantasy, and horror. Star Mother by Charlie N. Homburg. When a star dies, a new one must be born. The sun god chooses a village of Endweaver to provide the mortal womb. The birthing of a star is always fatal for the mother, and Cirrus Wendin, who considers herself an outsider, sacrifices herself to secure her family's honor and take control of her legacy. But after her star child is born, Cirrus does what no other star mother has. She survives. When Cirrus returns to Endweaver, however, it's not 9 months later, it's 700 years later. Inexplicably displaced in time, Cirrus is determined to seek out her descendants. Being a woman traveling alone brings its own challenges, until Cirrus encounters a mysterious and desperate godling. Ristriel is incorporeal, a fugitive, a trickster, and the only being who can guide Cirrus safely to her destination. Now as Cirrus traverses realms both mortal and beyond, her journey truly begins. Together, pursued across the earth and trespassing the heavens, Cirrus and Ristriel are on a path to illuminate the mysteries that bind them and discover the secrets of the celestial world. So if you are interested in Star Mother, it comes out November 1st. Moving on to, okay, bear in mind, if you're interested in this, you've got to spell the title correctly, which is a problem I had. I spelled marvelous wrong. Is that the correct spelling of marvelous? Is that why I got it wrong? I mean, I don't spell very well, so it might not be the reason. At any rate, A Marvelous Light by Freya Marsky. Robin Blythe has more than enough bother in her life. He's struggling to be a good older brother, a responsible employer, and the harried baronet of a seat gutted by his late parents' excesses. When an administrative mistake sees him named a civil service liaison to a hidden magical society, he discovers what's been operating beneath the unextraordinary reality he's always known. Now Robin must contend with the beauty and danger of magic, an excruciating deadly curse, and the alarming visions of the future that come with it. Not to mention Edward Coursey, his cold and prickly counterpart in the magical bureaucracy, who clearly wishes Robin or anyone or anywhere else. Robin's predecessor has disappeared, and the mystery of what happened to him reveals unsettling truths about the very oldest stories we've been told about the land they live on and what binds it. Thrown together and facing unexpected dangers, Robin and Edwin discover a plot that threatens to destroy every magician in the British Isles, and a secret that more than one person has already died to keep. This is going to be a new series, so this is book one in the series. It got a Star Review and Publishers Weekly, but it was also their debut of the month, meaning this is a debut novel, so the first novel by that author, and this of all the debuts they looked at for November, this was the one they liked the most. So if you are interested in A Marvelous Light, spelled exactly like that, then it comes out November 2nd. Okay, Swashbucklers by Dan Hanks. When Cisco Collins returns to his hometown 30 years after saving it from being swallowed by a hellmouth opened by an ancient pirate ghost, he realizes that being a childhood hero isn't like it was in the movies, especially when nobody remembers the heroic bits, even the friends who once fought alongside him. Struggling with single parenting and treated as a bit of a joke, Cisco isn't really in the Christmas spirit like everyone else, a fact that's made worse by the tendrils of the pirates' powers creeping back into our world and people beginning to die in hazardous ways. With the help of a talking fox, an enchanted forest, a long-lost friend haunting his dreams, and some 80s video game consoles turned into weapons, Cisco must now convince his friends to once again help him save the day. Yet they discover that being a ghost-busting hero is so much easier when you don't have school runs, parent evenings, and nativity plays to attend. And even in the middle of a supernatural battle, you always need to bring snacks and wipes. That one sounds fun to me. I like the cover too. If you're interested in Swashbucklers by Dan Hanks, it comes out November 9th. Okay. I think this is the one that's horror. I can't remember if the next one, I don't think the next one is. Yeah. So this is our one horror for this month. You Feel It Just Below the Ribs by Jeffrey Craner and Janina Matthewson. Born at the end of the world, Miriam grows up during the Great Reckoning, a sprawling decades-long war that nearly decimates humanity and strips her of friends and family. Oh yeah, okay. Devastated by grief and loneliness, she emotionally exiles herself, avoiding relationships or alliances, and throws herself into her work, disengagement that serves her when the war finally ends and the new society arises. To ensure a lasting peace, the new society forbids anything that may cause tribal loyalties, including traditional families. Suddenly, everyone must live as Miriam has chosen to, disconnected and unattached. A researcher at heart, Miriam becomes involved in implementing this detachment process. She does not know it is the beginning of a darkly sinister program that will transform this new world and the lives of everyone in it. Eventually, the harmful effects of her research become too much for Miriam, and she devises a secret plan to destroy the system from within, endangering her own life. But is her confession honest, or is it a fabrication riddled with lies meant to conceal the truth? This got a starred review from Kirkus Magazine, a magazine librarians read and is notoriously referred to by one of our librarians as the review publication you read when you want to find out why not to buy a book. At any rate, they like this. It comes out November 16th. All right, our final genre choice for this week, and I think this is science fiction. Yeah, probably. So, Termination Shock by Neal Stephenson. Neal Stephenson's sweeping, prescient new novel transports readers to a near future world where the greenhouse effect has resulted in a whirling dervish troposphere of superstorms, rising sea levels, global flooding, merciless heat waves, and virulent, deadly pandemics. One man has a big idea for reversing global warming, a master plan perhaps best described as elemental. But will it work? And just as important, what are the consequences for the planet and all of humanity if it is carried out? Ranging from the Texas heartland to the Dutch royal palace in The Hague, from the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas to the sun-baked Chihuahuan desert, Termination Shock brings together a desperate group of characters from different countries and continents who grapple with the life-changing repercussions of global warming. Ultimately, it asks the questions, might the cure be worse than the disease? This got a Kirkus starred review, just like the last one. But if you're interested in Termination Shock, it comes out November 16. And that one is likely to have a lot of holds because it's Neal Stephenson. So if you're interested, put a hold on it sooner rather than later. Our Country Friends by Gary. I genuinely don't know how to pronounce that last name. Schittenegard? No idea. Anyway, in March 2020, a calamity is unfolding. A group of friends and friends of friends gather in a country house to wait out the pandemic. Over the next 6 months, new friendships and romances will take hold, while old betrayals will emerge, forcing each character to reevaluate whom they love and what matters most. The unlikely cast of characters include a Russian-born novelist, his Russian-born psychiatric wife, their precocious child obsessed with K-pop, a struggling Indian-American writer, a wildly successful Korean-American app developer, a global dandy with 3 passports, a young flamethrower of an essayist, originally from the Carolinas, and a movie star, the actor, whose arrival upsets the equilibrium of this chosen family. In a remarkable literary feat, the author has documented through fiction the emotional toll of our recent times, a story of love and friendship that reads like a great Russian novel set in upstate New York. Both elegiac, and very, very funny. Our Country Friends is the most ambitious book yet by the author of the beloved bestseller, Super Sad True Love Story. This also got a starred review from Kirkus Magazine. If you're interested in Our Country Friends, it comes out November 2nd. Win Me Something. Oh, in case, did I say that these are the ones that aren't science fiction, fantasy, and horror? Couldn't tell by the last description. It's literary or general fiction. The next 2 are as well. Win Me Something by Kyle Lucia Wu. Wyla Chen has never quite fit in. Growing up as a biracial Chinese-American girl in New Jersey, Wyla felt both hypervisible and unseen. Too Asian to fit in at a mostly white school, and too white to speak to the few Asian kids around. After her parents' early divorce, they both remarried and started new families, and Wyla grew up feeling outside of their new lives too. For years, Wyla does her best to stifle her feelings of loneliness, drifting through high school and then college as she tries to quiet the unease inside her. But when she begins working for the Adrians, a wealthy white family in Tribeca, as a nanny for their daughter Bijou, Wyla is confronted with all of the things she never had. As she draws closer to the family and eventually moves in with them, Wyla finds herself questioning who she is and revisiting a childhood where she never felt fully at home. Self-examining and fraught with the emotions of a family who fails and loves in equal measures, Win Me Something is a nuanced coming-of-age debut about the irreparable fissures between people and a young woman who asks what it really means to belong and how she might begin to define her own life. This also got a Kirkus starred review. Kirkus liked literary novels, by the way, in case you didn't realize. If you're interested in Win Me Something by Kyle Lucci Wu, it comes out November 2nd. One last book for today, still literary, 5 Tuesdays in Winter by Lily King. By the award-winning New York Times bestselling author of Writers and Lovers, Lily King's first ever collection of exceptional and innovative short stories told in the intimate voice. This is her first ever collection of exceptional and innovative short stories. Told in the intimate voices of unique and endearing characters of all ages, these tales explore desire and heartache, loss and discovery, moments of jolting violence, and the tug toward love at all costs. A bookseller's unspoken love for his employee rises to the surface. A neglected teenage boy finds much needed nurturing from an unlikely pair of college students hired to babysit. A girl's loss of innocence at the hands of her employer's son becomes a catalyst for strength and confidence. And a proud nonagenarian rages helplessly in his granddaughter's hotel room. Romantic, hopeful, brutally raw, and unsparingly honest. Some even slipping into the surreal, these stories are above all about King's enduring subject of love. I don't usually do short stories because they can be hard to summarize, but this got starred reviews from Kirkus, Publishers Weekly, and Library Journal, which means it's probably going to be on the list of one of the best books of the year and may very likely have some good stories in there. So if you're interested in 5 Tuesdays in Winter, it comes out November 9th. All right, we're done for the today, but don't forget to enter the giveaway if you want one of the 4 books I held up earlier. We also have our Goodreads group. I have already put up the science fiction, fantasy, and horror that I didn't include here, which is mostly series updates. That's a discussion board post on the Tea and New Book Tuesday Goodreads group. I also sent out the newsletter at 11, which includes all of these books and a link to get to our catalog so that you can look at them. That's all we've got for today. Next week, we're going to talk about December hits because we have already arrived at December. I will see you guys then. Bye.